Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The regular season is officially over, and now it is time for championship week. And man, I couldn't be more excited. As promised, here at the Gridiron Expert, we're going to be predicting every single conference championship game. From the Conference USA to the SEC, we're predicting every single one of them. And today, guys, we're predicting half of them. There are 10 conferences, there are 10 championship games. We're predicting 5 today, 4 of the group of 5 and 1 Power 5. The American Conference, along with the other 4 Power 5 conferences, we will predict with individual videos. We're going to have individual, deeper analysis on those games. The SEC, the ACC, the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the American. All of those will be coming out starting tomorrow on Wednesday. 2 videos on Wednesday, 2 videos on Thursday, 1 video on Friday. But today, we want to talk about some of the other conference championships that maybe aren't getting that much attention, but they're still going to be very fun to watch on Saturday. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's break these down right now and start predicting championship weekend. We'll start with the Conference USA. As you can see, the conferences are designated there in parentheses. Over the Conference USA, we have North Texas based on the AP poll, number 23, UTSA. And I want to give a lot of credit to the Mean Green for getting here. You know, North Texas comes in at 7-5. They started the year at 2-3. Kind of was written off by everybody. And yet North Texas is here, finishing 5-2, 7-5 on the year. Texas San Antonio was the Cinderella team from last year and have done a phenomenal job under Jeff Traylor once again. 10-2 on the year. Just look dominant all year long, undefeated in conference play. They're very hard to stop, to put it bluntly. The Roadrunners are the team to beat in the Conference USA, and clearly we are picking them over North Texas for a million different reasons. The first, Texas San Antonio beat North Texas back on October 22nd, 31-27, with a game-winning touchdown with 15 seconds left. So it was a thriller back in late October. You know, 2 teams have great offenses. The Mean Green, 34.5 points per game. The Roadrunners, 37.9 points per game. Both are averaging over 470 yards per game. But for me, the Roadrunners clearly own the defensive edge. They held North Texas to 22 rushing yards back in October. Keep in mind, the Mean Green this year have been averaging 204 rushing yards per game. So if Texas San Antonio at the Alamo Dome can just shut down the run game again, just like they did in October, they're going to be just fine. Because I don't think Austin Aune, the quarterback for North Texas, I don't think he's going to be able to do it all by himself, all through the air. I do believe in Frank Harris, who's thrown for over 3,500 yards and 27 touchdowns. I do believe in Zachary Franklin, who has 956 reception yards and 11 reception touchdowns for the Roadrunners this year. I think at home, a team that has won the conference before, Texas San Antonio wins their 2nd straight Conference USA title, and it will be in thrilling fashion on Friday night at the Alamo Dome. Give me UTSA 11-win season once again. Head over to the MAC. We've seen midweek action for weeks now. Now we get the MAC championship game between Toledo and Ohio. And it really is a shame that Ohio is going to be without their star quarterback in Curtis Rourke. Man, if he was going to be playing in this game, I think Ohio would be favored. But even without him, even with their backup quarterback C.J. Harris being the starter, Ohio is just a narrow underdog to Toledo. The Rockets coming in at 7-5, Ohio coming in at 9-3, an unbelievable bounce-back season from a very disappointing 2021. Now look at this game, guys. Toledo has a phenomenal quarterback of their own in DeQuan Finn, who's thrown for over 1,900 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He's also rushed for over 500 yards and 8 touchdowns on the year. C.J. Harris for Ohio has seen very limited time, but helped them get the win in that season finale. I believe it was against Bowling Green. When you look at the two, Toledo clearly, to me, owns the defensive edge. The numbers are very impressive. 337.8 total yards per game they're allowing, only allowing 187 through the air. Ohio is allowing 305.3 passing yards per game. Not a very good secondary there at all. Toledo has the best defense in the MAC, no doubt about it. And you look at that and you go, well, Toledo, best defense in the MAC, facing off against an Ohio team with a backup quarterback, should be all over the Rockets. I disagree. C.J. Harris, from what I've seen so far this season, has been very, very impressive. I think he's got a very dangerous dual threat capability. I think he's got a pretty dang good arm that can match DeQuan Finn, whose decision-making is still iffy. You look a little bit deeper as well. Toledo is finishing the year cold, losing their last 2 games to Bowling Green by 7 and Western Michigan by 6. Ohio is hot. They've won their last 7, with 6 of them coming by double digits, including a big win over Bowling Green, who Toledo lost to. Give me the Bobcats to clinch a MAC championship. After such a bad 2021, they'll be one of the best bounce-back stories in the country. 10-win season for the Bobcats and a conference title to their name. Coastal Carolina at Troy. We go to the Sun Belt. This is one of the more intriguing conference championships I don't think people are talking nearly enough about. Troy, guys, is in the Sun Belt championship game in year one under new head coach John Summerall. Year one, first-year head coach, they're in the Sun Belt championship game with a 10-2 record. And how did Troy do it, you might ask? They did it with defense. The Trojans are allowing just 199.1 passing yards per game. They're also giving up just 117 rushing yards per game. It's one of the best defenses in the Sun Belt this year. Their quarterback, Gunnar Watson, has been solid, over 2,300 yards through the air, but 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 1-to-1 ratio, not great. But Kamani Vidal has been fantastic on the ground game, 1,006 yards, 9 rushing touchdowns. Yes, Coastal Carolina does have Grayson McCall, but there's a very good chance he might not be playing in this game. Jarrett Guest is going to be the guy that has to step in for the Chanticleers, and he has not looked good. He has not looked good so far for Coastal Carolina in replacement of Grayson McCall, and that was evident in their season finale where they lost by 40 points to James Madison, who would actually be in this game if they were eligible. It wasn't their first year at the FBS level. Coastal lost by 40 to James Madison. They lost by 28 to Old Dominion. They have 5 wins by single digits. The game is at home. Troy's been playing fantastic ball. Give me the Trojans to win the Sun Belt in year one with the first-year head coach behind the strength of their defense that will capture an 11-win season. What a year for the Trojans out of Alabama. How about we move on to the Mountain West Championship? Fresno State at Boise State. This is going to be another fun one as well. And this was a game that you kind of expected it to be. Many people thought Air Force might make the Mountain West Championship game. Boise State getting back to that point. For some, it was a bit of a surprise. For some, it's refreshing to finally see Boise back on top and competitive in the Mountain West Conference again. But you look at this. Boise finally in at 9-3. Great bounce-back year for Andy Avalos and his squad. They started the year so poorly. Really, really great job for riding the ship later on in the year. Fresno State, Jeff Tedford coming back. Kalen DeBoer heads off to Washington. Does great there. Jeff Tedford comes back with the Bulldogs, leads them to 8-4 and a championship berth. Not too bad. Both offenses have been spectacular. Both are averaging over 30 points per game. The styles are a little bit different. Fresno clearly wants to pass the ball. They're averaging 277 passing yards per game, led by Jake Hayner, who has thrown for over 2,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions. Pretty dang good numbers. They also have a very star running back in Jordan Mims, who has over 1,000 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns on the year. Boise, on the other hand, is very balanced. They can throw it. They can also beat you on the ground. The Broncos averaging 196 passing yards per game and 190 rushing yards per game. So they really want to run it more than they want to pass it, but they are very, very balanced and can beat you either way. Taylon Green is their quarterback, over 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, has done a great job filling in for Hank Bachmeier. Also has 432 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns on the year. Boise's defense, to me, is the difference maker in this one. They're allowing just 284.7 total yards per game and only 159 passing yards per game. It's a pretty drastic difference from the 277 that Fresno's been averaging on the year. Boise beat Fresno State back on October 8th, beat them 40-20. I expect the game to be a little bit closer this time around, but expect the Broncos to win the Mountain West Championship on the Smurf turf and really rising back to the top of the Mountain West where many believe they belong. They were there for about a decade, fell off a little bit. Now they're back with a conference championship and a 10-win season. And then the Big Ten Championship, guys, we didn't do an individual video for the Big Ten Championship because, to me, this could be one of the more lackluster Power 5 championship games. Michigan should wipe the floor with Purdue. Number 2 team in the country based on the AP poll. Michigan just annihilated Ohio State in Columbus, beat them by 22 points. You look at Purdue, there's a chance, first off, they could be without Aiden O'Connell. The chance I think he's going to play in this game, but as of now, his status kind of up in the air. But let's say he does play. If he doesn't play, Michigan 100%. Even if he does play, I have a lot of faith in Michigan to get the job done. Michigan's defense has been spectacular. The Wolverines giving up just 12.7 points per game, 177 passing yards per game, and have forced 10 interceptions. You look a little bit deeper here. Yes, Purdue has clinched their first ever Big Ten West title. That's a huge deal for them. Yes, they're looking for their first Big Ten title since 2000. Purdue can't take anything away from the Boilermakers. Had a disappointing start to the season, finished strong. It's remarkable that they're in this position. A lot of credit to Jeff Brom and what he's been doing in West Lafayette. Michigan ultimately is too much. It's a Purdue team that wants to throw the ball. It's a Michigan team that wants to run the ball. Michigan can control the line of scrimmage. Their defense is the difference maker. The Wolverines aren't going to let this game slip away because they know if they win this, they're in the college football playoff. Even if they lose, they're probably in, but a win definitely solidifies it. Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines win by double digits in Indianapolis, and the Wolverines will be in the college football playoff more than likely as the 2 seed, just like they were last year. So guys, there you have it. There you have it, man. This is just fine. This is just half of the conference championship games. We have 5 more videos we're going to be producing for the rest of this week, where we are picking UTSA to win the Conference USA, Ohio to win the MAC, Troy to win the Sun Belt, Boise State to win the Mountain West, and Michigan to win the Big Ten championship. Those are half of your conference champions. Find out who the other 5 champions will be right here at the Gridiron Expert. 2 predicted winners on Wednesday, 2 more on Thursday, 1 more on Friday, and then by Friday night, it'll be time for championship week to kick off. Sunday is Selection Sunday, and then boom, we are in to the postseason, and we will have predictions for every single bowl game right here on the Gridiron Expert, and spread predictions for every single bowl game only on thegridironexpert.com. Make sure to check that out. The link down in the description below. Go sign up to get the little holiday winnings this season. Go check it out. Again, the link down in the description below. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.